Hey there, dear listener. Don't panic. I'm not the one narrating tonight's story. My voice isn't exactly bedtime material. I'm just here to wish you a very good night. You know, even if no one notices, you've been fighting your own battles, and I hope everything in your life turns out just the way you want. If you like, you can join the Prehistoric Sleep family by subscribing. And hey, if you're on your phone, just tap the screen once and hit that little thumbs up in the corner. Now, get ready for the mysterious life of our saber-toothed tiger. Clear your mind, relax, and enjoy.
The cave was warm despite the winter's bite outside. Shadows danced along the stone walls as a soft wind whispered through narrow cracks. Deep within the cave, nestled among moss and dried leaves, a saber-toothed mother lay still, her breath slow. And deep, then, a sound, a soft whimper. A new life had arrived. The tiny cub, eyes sealed shut, pressed close to his mother's side. Her fur was warm, her heart beat steady, a rhythm that told him he was safe. The cub's first breath was shallow, uncertain, but it carried with it the weight of eternity. The world had welcomed him. He wriggled, instinct guiding him toward the warmth of milk. The cave walls seemed to hum with the sound of new life, as if nature itself celebrated the arrival. Outside, snow fell silently, blanketing the valley in peace. Inside, the cub was a spark in the eternal cycle of the earth. The mother nuzzled him gently, her great fangs glinting in the dim light. She had brought him into this world and would protect him with her life. The cub's tiny body trembled, but each heartbeat grew steadier, stronger. He could not yet see the infinite horizon, could not yet know the challenges that awaited him. But something deep within older than memory told him this was only the beginning. The cave would be his sanctuary for many moons. Here he would learn the rhythms of survival, the growl of hunger, the warmth of family. The sounds of the forest carried through stone. The mother's eyes glowed softly in the dark, watching over her newborn with a gaze that was both fierce and tender. You are part of this land, her presence seemed to say. You are its future, its hope, its eternal breath. The cub snuggled deeper into the moss, his tiny claws gripping the earth that would one day remember his steps. He yawned, his first fragile sound echoing through the cavern like a promise. He was not just a cub. He was the start of a journey that would stretch beyond the stars, a journey that would lead him to the infinite horizon. And as he drifted into his first sleep, the cave whispered softly around him, "Welcome, little one. Your story has just begun. Take a long, slow breath and exhale. You open your eyes to a pale, endless world of snow-frozen plains stretched forever, the sky heavy with low grey clouds. A cold wind stirs ancient secrets in the distant forest. Your massive chest rises and falls. Each breath is a silent thunder echoing through your ribs. Your heart beats slow, heavy like drums, muffled under centuries of ice. You stand here as you have stood for countless lifetimes. Tonight, you are a saber-tooth, carved by time itself. But somewhere, deep within, older shadows whisper you. Remember being a great bear once, curled in a cavern of frost, dreaming away entire seasons. You remember the hunger of winter, the sharp tang of pine and the chase. Then deeper still, a memory of wide wings spread against a sapphire sky, soaring high over these same frozen lands, seeing your shadow glide over herds below. Is this what it means to live many lives? A question moves through your mind like drifting snow. To survive, to feed, to sleep, and then to rise again in another form. Your massive paws shift in the snow, claws flexing with effortless power. Feel the cold press up through your thick pads, anchoring you to this moment. Each fang rests heavy in your jaw, 10 inches of curved ivory, older than any memory. You close your eyes, letting the ancient wind curl through your fur. It brings sense of distant hunts, of warm trails crossing the white. It carries echoes of other nights, other hunts, perhaps even other worlds. Breathe again, slower. Let the chill nestle deep in your chest. This is not just your breath, it is the breath of all who came before you. You think of the first time you ever felt fear, not in this life, perhaps not even in this body. A shadow across moonlight, eyes glowing in the dark muscles, tightening, heart racing. A lesson burned into blood. To be afraid is to survive. Perhaps fear is the first teacher, you think. Without it, we learn nothing. Without it, we never truly wake. Your jaws part slightly, tasting the frozen air. Your massive saber teeth gleam pale under the dim moon, slick with your breath. They are not only weapons, they are stories, etched by hunger and winters survived. You remember a time when you were a wolf, running across these same snows in a pack. The warm breath of brothers and sisters beside you. The pounding rhythm of many hearts. The joy of the chase. The surge of triumph as prey fell under many jaws. How many lives have I worn, you wonder? How many shapes has this same breath passed through, learning the cold, learning the hunt, learning the softness of sleep. The wind sighs again, brushing over your ears. Snowflakes gather on your whiskers. Each tiny flake a world vanishing on your warm skin. Your muscles ease under thick fur, shoulders lowering. Your ancient heart slows, accepting the calm. Another long breath, filling your vast lungs, feeding every heavy limb now. You simply stand in this endless white, free of the past, careless of any future. There is only this moment, only this cold cradle holding you. You close your eyes again, and behind them rises another dream. You see yourself as a giant sloth in a warm, forgotten jungle, moving slow through towering trees, moss dripping from heavy limbs. You remember how time stretched their days like syrup, fear barely a ghost. Then you drift back, pulled by instinct, by the familiar weight of saber teeth in your jaws, by the ancient cold gripping your bones. Is this all life ever? Is, you ask the silence, to breathe, to eat, to fear, to sleep, to start again? There is no answer, only the soft hush of falling snow, only your slow breath, only your steady heart. Let it be enough. Take one more long breath, slower, deeper Beal. Feel how each inhale draws the entire world inside you. Cold, scent, memory. Feel how each exhale pushes it gently away, leaving peace in its place. Now, let your thoughts drift like snowflakes. Let them fall quietly into the dark, vanish without a trace. Your paws sink slightly deeper into the snow. Your jaws close, teeth resting peacefully. The wind moves around you, cradling you in whispers older than stone. Sleep, mighty Saber-Tooth, sleep. Drift deeper, there is nothing more to do, nothing more to be, just breathe, just sleep. You stand still in the dim white of night, your breath rising slow like old spirits. Your heart is calm, but under that calm, a hunger pulses old. Deep, then it stirs. This memory, clearer than the snow around you, you see. A moonlit field, pale, endless. The ice crackles beneath your paws. Ahead, shadows move. A herd of deer drifts between dead trees. Cautious, soft steps. Your muscles coil without thought. Your fangs press heavy in your jaws. You creep, slow, silent. Your breath fades. Your chest hardly lifts. Closer, closer, a young stag lifts its head, ears twitch. Too late, your legs explode beneath you. Mighty shoulders, driving you forward. The night shatters around you. Snow bursts under your weight. Your claws tear through the quiet. The deer scatter, eyes wild. The stag bounds, but you crash against it, claws digging deep. It falls under you, legs scraping the ice. Its breath is sharp. Eyes wide, life clings in a fragile thread. Your jaws open, the scent floods you. Fear iron, the soft burn of the hunt. Then it breaks warm, thick. The taste rolls over your tongue. Copper, life. For a moment you feel time stop. Nothing but heartbeats, yours and his, until only yours remains. Your mouth closes, warmth coats your teeth. Your breath slows again, steaming in cold that can't reach inside you now. Above, the moon watches quiet, endless. You wonder how many hunts it has seen, how many creatures took their last breath under its pale light. Maybe every life is meant to feed another. Maybe your teeth exist only to keep the circle spinning. But in this moment, you feel no sorrow, no guilt, only the calm of hunger eased. You lift your heavy head. Warmth drips slow from your jaw. Dark dots on soft snow. Your heart beats like deep drums, slow, deep each pulse a promise. The herd is gone, their scent fades into old trees. Silence returns. Your muscles loosen, shoulders sag under thick fur. You breathe deeper, longer. Your eyelids grow heavy, a whisper curls through your mind. Perhaps to live is to take, to chase, to fall, to rise again. Maybe this moment was always meant for you. Long before teeth met flesh, you sit in the snow, breath slowing more, heart sinking to the pace of sleep. The cold wraps around you, gentle now, almost tender. Your thoughts drift, dear. Moon, the memory still warm on your tongue. You close your eyes, let the dark fill you. Sleep, mighty Saber-Tooth, sleep. You breathe slow, heavier. Your eyes close without meaning to, and suddenly you remember another life. A body even larger than this. Claws, thick and blunt, fur dense, matted from long sleeps. You see stone walls, dark, damp, echoes of water trickling somewhere far. The cave smells of moss, earth, your own heavy musk. Outside winter rages. Snow falls thick across the mouth of your cave, piling, hiding you from the world. You feel safe here, hidden, forgotten by all but time. Your breath slows more, heart heavy and patient. You do not need to hunt now. There is no hunger, only this vast stillness. Perhaps this is what the world was made for. Deep sleeps, long quiets, silence so big it swallows all thought. You dream inside the dream, see yourself lumbering through green forests, claws sinking into soft ground, snapping branches, berries staining your muzzle. Then the dream fades, darkness returns, stone walls press close again, the cold settles into your bones, but your heart beats slow, unbotted. Why does the world sleep so deeply, you wonder? Why does the earth bury itself in ice just to wake again? Perhaps sleep is older than hunger, older than fear. Maybe it is the first wisdom, the oldest refuge. You breathe again, slower. Feel your lungs fill with musty cave air. You smell your own warmth in the cold. you curl tighter, massive body folding over itself. Your mind drifts, memories blur, the cave, the snow. Your heavy breath, all become one. Sleep, ancient bear, sleep, and somewhere inside, so does the saber-tooth. You breathe slow, eyes half closed, and somewhere, deep inside, another memory rises. Not teeth or claws this time, but feathers, wings stretched wide. You remember catching currents of warm air, lifting you higher, higher. Above white mountains, above green valleys, the world so small, below rivers like silver threads, herds nothing but drifting shapes. The wind roars under your wings, your heart races, but with joy, not fear. You tilt, turn, feel the sky lean with you. Clouds slip by cold, mist brushing your beak. In that life, there were no saber teeth, no heavy muscles to drag you down. Only hollow bones, light and sure, a sharp eye for movement below, a sharper hunger guiding the long spiral down. You remember folding your wings, diving air, rushing past, tearing sound from your ears, speed so fierce it feels like you might tear apart. Then spreading your wings again, catching the wind just above the earth, the thrill so bright it burns. Perhaps this was freedom, not just rising, but risking the fall. Trusting that air would hold you, that instinct would guide you, that the ground was not your enemy, only the final test. Now, as Saber-Tooth, standing heavy on snow, you wonder, why did you come down from that sky? Why trade lightness for weight, feather for fur, claw for wing, maybe each? Life needs to know the other side, the soaring and the crawling, the cold heights and the warm chase. You breathe again, slower. Feel your chest expand. But some part of you still aches for the sky, for the rush of falling, for the simple faith that wind is always there. You close your eyes, feel your heart slow, let the memory of wings fade, and sink back into this heavy, furred body. Sleep, old eagle, sleep, and let the saber-tooth breathe in your place. You stand in the snow, breath slow, heart heavy in your chest. The moon hangs low, a pale eye watching from above. Shadows stretch long across the white, silent, waiting. Then it comes, a memory older than any hunt, older than hunger. The first time fear truly filled you. You see yourself small, younger, your fangs still growing in a world enormous around you. Trees like towers, wind howling between them. Something moved that night, beyond the trees. You remember the way your ears twitched, the way your heart began to race without your will, a shape darker than the dark, slipping between trunks. No sound, only the deep sense that you are not the hunter here, but the hunted. You breathe faster now, chest rising sharp. Your claws dig into snow that offers no comfort. Your muscles lock, ready to flee or fight. Then you remember how the creature never showed itself, how it left you there, shaking breath, hot in cold air, alone with nothing but your fear. Maybe that was the lesson. Perhaps fear is the first teacher. It shows you how fragile you truly are, makes every heartbeat precious, every breath a tiny victory. The moon above seems to know this. It shines coldly indifferent to your trembling. It has watched countless creatures fear what they cannot see, watched them run, watched them freeze, watched them fall. You breathe slower, force it. In, hold out. Feel your heart slow, though the memory still claws at you. Perhaps fear is not an enemy. Perhaps it is the oldest companion, walking beside every hunter and every prey, whispering that life matters only because it can. Be lost. You close your eyes, let the shadows wrap around you. Your body heavy breath, cooling again, thoughts drifting like smoke. Sleep, old fear, sleep. And let the saber-tooth rest without you. You breathe slow, heavy eyes half shut. Then something inside wakes an old memory. Claws, paws, not saber claws, smaller, leaner, faster. You see a night sky, wide, endless, cold stars watching from above. Beneath them you run, paws, pounding snow, your breath clouds beside many others. Brothers, sisters, the pack, their bodies press close, fur brushing fur, eyes gleam with the same sharp hunger. Hearts beat in shared rhythm, each pulse ties you together. You were never alone, not then. The scent of deer fills the air, hot, wild, trembling just ahead. Your muscles tighten. You rush forward, not by command, but by instinct, all of you as one mind. Your breath is not yours alone. It belongs to the pack. Every inhale, every deep sigh. Snow explodes underfoot. Branches whip. Past, you surge beside your kin, shoulder to shoulder, teeth bared, eyes locked on prey. You remember the chase, the way time slowed, how the world narrowed to only pounding hearts and flashing legs. Then the moment of impact. Bodies collide, jaws snap. Warmth bursts across your tongue. The deer falls beneath many mouths. You tear with others, feel it struggle, and then still. Your chest heaves, breath rasps out, but around you all the pack breathes together. Maybe this is what life meant then, not survival alone, but survival together. Each bite you took, someone else took too. Each heartbeat found echo. In another chest, perhaps nature mocks you now, giving you saber teeth, solitary strength. So you remember what it felt like to trust many instead of just yourself. You breathe slow, let the memory wash over you. The joy of not being alone, the comfort of many bodies against the night. How warmth traveled from one to the next. So fear never truly settled. Then the dream fades. Snow is quiet again. Your fur is thick and heavy. No other heart beats beside yours. Just yours, slow, powerful, lonely. You wonder if wolves still run under these same stars. If they still chase deer with the same hunger. If they still breathe together. Your breath comes deeper now, chest rising wide. You let it fall slow, feel the air slip out in long curls. Sleep, old wolf. Sleep. And let the saber-tooth remember for you. You breathe deep, slow, then wonder why breathing ever matters at all. Your chest rises with cold air. Your heart pushes it away, over and over. But why? Why does the body fight so hard to keep living when every day leads only toward the same silent dark? Maybe it is hunger, not for meat, not even for survival, but something older, deeper, the universe pulling itself forward through you. Each breath, each slow curl of your claws into snow is the cosmos wanting to see itself again. Long ago, you hunted not because your belly was empty, but because the chase made your blood sing, your legs stretch, your heart pound. Your jaws snap on warm life, and for a moment you felt the world tremble under your weight. Perhaps hunger is just the universe reminding you it exists, that the silence can be broken, that the cold can be driven away by warmth. You stand here now, alone, the snow whispering round your heavy paws. Your breath leaves long ghosts in the air. Your muscles tighten, but there is no prey, only empty whiteness stretching forever. So why does your belly twist still? Why does your mouth fill with taste that isn't there? Why do your eyes scan the line of dead trees for movement? That never comes. Maybe it is not about eating, not even about living. Maybe it is only about feeling the promise that the next heartbeat will matter, that it will carry you one step closer to something you cannot name. You. Breathe again, slower. Feel it sink through ribs and curl around your ancient bones. Your heart answers with a low, stubborn thump. You remember nights as a wolf running with kin under dark skies. Your belly empty, but your spirit alight, because you were not alone, because each chase meant more than just filling your gut or days as a great bear. Heavy in a cave, dreaming of berries you would never taste. Dreams enough to keep your chest rising, even when snow buried the world outside. Perhaps that is hunger too, not for food, but for memory, for dream, for the echo of what could be. You breathe deeper now, let it flow through. You like a slow river. Feel your eyelids grow heavy, your thoughts loosen. Maybe that is the secret. Maybe hunger is not a curse, but the oldest prayer. The body's way of whispering into the dark. I am still here. I still want sleep. Hungry one, sleep, and let tomorrow carry its own question. You breathe slow, heavy. Your chest rises, not with hunger, not with cold, but with something softer. A memory that feels lighter than your saber teeth, older than your claws. You remember being small, not small like cub small, but small like prey, like soft legs beneath you, like eyes that watched the sky more than the ground. You walked then through grass that brushed your flanks, green, sweet, curling under your tongue. No warmth of blood, no sharp taste, only the sun warm on your back, the ground sure underfoot. Maybe you were a deer, or something like a deer. Your teeth flat, dull, made for tearing plants, not flesh. Your belly filled, not with meat, but with cool leaves and flowers. The wind smelled different then. No iron, no fear, only distant rain, the promise of rivers, the hum of insects. You remember your ears always turning, not for the cry of prey, but for the sound of something larger, something that broke branches, made birds leap into the air. Your heart would rush, breath would stutter, legs tense to flee. You were always listening for danger. It lived close then, always just beyond sight. And sometimes, no matter how fast your legs carried you, claws still found your flank, jaws still closed on your throat. Perhaps this is why nature gave you fangs in another life, why it wrapped your jaws in ivory so long and so cruel, so you could remember what it felt like to run, to fear, to be nothing but warm breath in. Tall grass, that you breathe deeper, let the memory fill you. The taste of clover, still sweet on a tongue that no longer exists. The way sun painted your back, how shadows felt like hands waiting to pull you down. Maybe this is balance. Maybe the world needs both, the hunted and the hunter, the soft breath that trembles and the heavy breath that waits. You remember the night falling on that other skin, how your heart raced for hours with no sound, just the fear that something watched from the dark. How sleep finally came, not as peace, but as exhaustion. You breathe again, slower. The saber-toothed heart inside you slows too. Each thump, like distant thunder, patient deep. Perhaps that is why you live so many lives, so you can know what it means to fear, to flee, to fall, before you ever know what it means to stand, to wait, to hunt. Your eyes close. The memory of green fades, replaced by the cold white you stand upon now. But somewhere inside, somewhere very old, a part of you still chews clover, still listens for breaking branches, still hopes to see another sunrise. Sleep, gentle grazer, sleep, and let the saber-tooth keep your secret. You breathe slow, slower than ever, your chest barely lifts. The air feels thin, cold, each inhale a struggle, each exhale a surrender. Your heart beats soft, distant, like thunder far off across frozen hills. You stand in snow that seems endless, it pulls at you, like hands trying to drag you down into its quiet cradle. Your legs shake, not from fear, but from the weight of simply staying upright. Then you remember another time, a time when your heart nearly stopped for good, when the world blurred into a dim tunnel, when breath fled your lungs and did not wish to return. You see yourself lying in dark grass, warmth pooling around you, scent thick in your nostrils. Stars swirl above, cold and careless. Your heart shudders, skips, then skips again. Silence swells in your chest, a silence deeper than any cave, deeper than any winter. Inside it, your mind whispers, almost begging, rest, drift, let go. You breathe, shallow now, a thin sound, almost nothing. Your ears ring with your own pulse, moving slow, like a lazy river full of silt. Perhaps this is what the end truly is. Not teeth, not claws, not the pain of tearing, but the moment your body simply decides, enough. You wonder if the snow would cradle you, if it would hold you gently as your eyes closed for the last time, if it would whisper back that this was always how it would be. Then something old, stubborn stirs inside you. Your heart kicks hard, like a mule. Breath rips into your chest, harsh and rude. Your eyes open wide to black sky and pale stars. You live still. Your chest rises again, slower but steady. Your heart grumbles, offended. It almost stopped. Maybe life is nothing but 1,000 tiny refusals to be silent forever. Each breath a protest, each heartbeat a soft rebellion. You breathe deeper now. Feel your ribs stretch, your claws flex in the snow. Your head lowers, heavy but still your own. Rest deeper, drift, not because the end demands it, but because your body needs to heal, to dream, to prepare for tomorrow's hunt. Sleep, old heart. Sleep, and wake again when the world needs your thunder. Asterisk. You breathe so slow now. Your chest rises in long waves, each one softer, quieter, like the world itself is growing tired of motion. You stand in snow that shines under a thin moon. Your paws sink deep, cold wraps around your ankles. But there is no fear here, only stillness. A promise that the chase is over, that hunger no longer calls. Your heart beats lazy, each thump echoing inside your ribs like distant drums. Their rhythm spreads through you, out into the silent forest, as if the trees listen, as if the stars lean closer to hear. You remember old hunts, old dreams. You taste the warmth of long-forgotten nights, feel the rush of strength, now far behind you. But even these memories grow thin, stretched by time, worn by so many breaths. Perhaps this is what the final rest means. Not teeth, not claws, not noise, but forgetting. The gentle mercy of not carrying the weight of yesterday. You breathe deeper, slower. Your eyelids droop, heavy with all the nights you ran beneath cold skies, heavy with every heartbeat you've ever spent chasing life. Maybe sleep is not defeat. Maybe it is the final gift nature gives to the hunter, a way to drift where hunger never follows, where pain never walks. Your legs weaken, fold beneath you. The snow catches you gently, cradles your heavy body. Your breath slips out, your chest hardly moves now. Rest deeper, drift. Let the cold hold you, Let the dark close over your eyes. It is gentle now. It does not wish to harm, only to hush your racing thoughts. Your heart stumbles, finds its beat again, but slower. Like it to knows this is the last stretch. Each pulse softer, each one a question. Do you still wish to stand, or is it time to let go? You breathe one more time. The air tastes faint thin, almost like nothing at all. Your jaws part, not to bite, only to sigh. Perhaps tomorrow the snow will cover you, hide you from the moon, let you vanish into the earth. And somewhere else, perhaps strength will rise again. Perhaps the hunger will return. Sleep, mighty Saber-Toothed, sleep and dream of a world with no claws. No hunts, no cold, only silence, only rest. You freeze, your breath catches. Something lingers in the wind, not snow, not prey, not storm. It is sharp, unnatural, bitter, like fire and stone. Your nostrils flare, your ears twitch. It smells of change, ... But not the kind you bring, you. Remember it, not clearly, but deep in the bones of other lives. When man walked with light in one hand and sound in the other, you breathe slower, your legs ready without command. Your tail lowers, your shoulders tense. This is not instinct. This is memory, ancient, heavy, as if all your ancestors whisper through your blood. Move, you remember a clearing. Trees fallen not by time, but by force. The smell of smoke, the echo of footsteps that did not belong in the forest. You saw one, 2 legs, no claws, but their eyes. Those eyes burned with something colder than ice. One raised something, long, dark, and suddenly the air split apart. A strike of sound, a flash of heat. Your body remembered before your mind did move. You did not look back. Not then. Not now. You moved until the wind forgot your scent. Now, standing here, the trace returns, faint, distant, but real. You do not roar. You do not growl. You wait, still as stone, invisible in silence. Because this feeling is sacred. It tells you where danger hides. You breathe again. Deeper now, slow, careful. There is no light ahead, no sudden sound, just the trees and you. But your heart remembers. And because it remembers, you live, rest. Not yet deep, not yet soft, but rest with one ear open, one eye beneath the lid. Let the forest wrap around you. Let your breath slow. Dream of rivers. Dream of nights without smoke. Dream of a world untouched. Rest. And if the wind shifts again, you will know. You will move. You will live. The snow is falling harder now. You feel it cling to your fur, settle on your spine. You move slowly through the trees, not for stealth, but because something inside you knows this night is not for hunting. There's a sound ahead, not sharp, not sudden, soft, repetitive, a cry, not prey, not danger, a cub, not yours, but young, alone. Your ears turn. The sound carries again, a frightened yelp buried beneath the snow. Your muscles tighten, not because of fear, but because of memory. You had a cub once, before the winter with no end, before the river froze so deep no fish moved. You had watched it sleep, its chest rising fast with little dreams, its warmth against your side like a sun made just for you. And you lost it to hunger, to frost, to silence. Now this sound, this voice in the snow, pulls you back. You find it under a fallen branch. Its eyes are wide, body thin, no mother, no bloodline, yet you stand over it like it's your own. A shadow moves in the distance, a rival predator, drawn by weakness, by easy blood. You growl low, not a threat, a promise. The figure watches, then disappears. Not today. You lie beside the cub. It curls against you, trembling. You do not speak, but you stay. Because instinct is not about hunger, not always. Sometimes it is about not losing. Not again. Your body warms the snow. Your breath slows. The cub's does too. You close your eyes, and for the first time in many nights, you feel the edge of peace, sleep. Not because you're tired, but because you've done what you were meant to do. Protect, and in that stillness, you both begin to dream. The forest does not speak tonight. No winds, no prey, no joy. Only the sound of your breath and the gentle crunch of snow beneath your paws. You walk not for hunger, not for territory, but because your mind refuses stillness. You have hunted. You have bled, you have roared. Yet what has it all become? Your shadow stretches long beside you. It does not growl, it does not bite. It only follows. Is that what life is? You wonder. A pattern repeated until even the trees stop watching. You pause beside a tree older than memory. Its bark is torn, not by storm, but by claws. Your kind, a rival once. Long forgotten, the mark is faded now, weathered by time, snow, and silence. And yet it remains, like all things do, until they don't. You lower yourself beside it, not from fatigue, but from need to think, to stop, to listen to what the silence may be trying to say. You think of your first breath, not the moment you were born, but the first time you tasted freedom, when you stood alone under the stars, and the night did not feel big, it felt yours. You remember blood, the warmth, the taste, the purpose. But you also remember snow, cold, cleansing, like forgetting without shame. Am I more claw than mind, more tooth than thought, more beast than being? These questions do not haunt you. They do not hurt. They simply float, as snow does, untouched. Unanswered, you blink slowly. Your muscles ease. The cold does not bite anymore. It hugs. Your heartbeat slows. The forest remains silent. But now you do not fear that silence, because tonight you are not alone in it. You are part of it. And maybe that is what peace means. Not answers. Not victories, just stillness. Sleep, not as surrender, but as understanding. Sleep, because you've asked enough for now. You dream, but it does not feel like dreaming. The snow fades, and you are flying wings. Not paws feathers, not further wind sings in your bones. You were an eagle, not now, but once you. Remember cliff's warm current's eyes, that saw too far prey that never escaped you. Remember falling not in fear, but in choice. The sky let you go gently, then you blinkened. You are water not, within it you are Ita river cold. Quiet, endless, you stretch from mountain to ocean, carving, time swallowing leaves, and holding secrets no land ever knew. A fish moves inside you, and for a moment you are that fish fin's flesh. The tremble of fear when shadow passes above you. Remember. Not thinking, just feeling. You were small, but alive. Another blink now. Fire hands words you don't understand. You are standing, but not as beast as human. You see stars, but they do not comfort you. You build things to reach them, but they never answer you. Speak, but not truth. You fear, but not claws. And then a roar. Your Rotha body you wear now calls to you. It is real flesh, fur, teeth that remember the taste of survival. You wake, but the dream clings to your fur like morning frost. Have I always been this? Or am I just now becoming? You walk, snow falls, you do not shiver, because tonight You are not a single being. You are echoes of wings of rivers of fire, all wrapped in striped sand, yet you are still here, still you, and that is enough sleep, knowing that who you were and who you might be have made peace in who you are. Now sleep in the stillness between lifetimes. You lie still, not from fatigue, but because stillness calls you now. No wind, no breath, not even thought. Your eyes are open, but they no longer search. There is nothing to find, nothing to fear, nothing to remember. Even the snow stops falling. The trees do not whisper. The ground does not groan. The stars above feel distant, not cold, just gone. You forget your name. You forget you had one. You forget the sound of it in your own growl. Once there was hunger. Then there was memory. Then there was reflection. Now there is only this. No edge, no weight, no tomorrow. You try to remember the forest, the river, the cub, the fight, the blood, the warmth. But memory is a smoke now, thin, grey, ungraspable. You close your eyes not to sleep, but because keeping them open no longer feels important. Even the beating of your heart is a distant drum in someone else's world. You are not cold, you are not warm, you are not, you fade, and in that fading there is a peace beyond peace, a silence not empty, but full of things too big to name. Sleep, not as escape, but as return. Sleep, where breath is not needed, where form is not held, where all that was simply isn't. The jungle was quiet, but not empty. A silence soaked in stories filled the air like a thick fog. I opened my eyes, not for the first time, but for the 1000th. Not in this body, not with these claws, in a life before. I flew, my wings spread across clouds, my cries echoing through snowy peaks. Now I walk again, not on skies, but on fallen leaves. My name has changed, but the soul, it remembers. Each paw print I leave on the soil whispers a tale, not just of this jungle, not just of this lifetime, but of all jungles, of all lifetimes. I stop near the river's edge. The water reflects a beast with saber-shaped teeth and fire in its eyes. But deep inside, there's more than a predator. There's a philosopher, a drifter, a witness to centuries buried under vines. My breathing slows. The wind carries the scent of forgotten memories. I remember a desert. I remember fire. I remember fire. I remember being hunted. I remember ... being human. Pause. Could it be? Could this wild roaring heart once have beat inside a soft-skinned boy staring at stars? Or perhaps I was the stars themselves. Reincarnation is not just a cycle, it's a song. A melody that travels through bones, wings, scales, and fur. A song we hum in our dreams. I lie down beneath a tree whose roots remember more than I ever could. Its bark tells stories. Its branches sway to the rhythm of lives long gone. I close my eyes, not to sleep, but to listen. A voice rises from within. The jungle is old, but you are older. The dream is deep, but you have drowned before. My tail twitches, my muscles loosen. I sink into the earth. My breath is calm. The past no longer hurts. The future no longer frightens. There is only now, and in this now, I am everything I ever was. Breathe in, breathe out. Let go, dream. The wind was soft tonight, like a whisper from the past. I found myself standing before an ancient tree, its bark cracked with age, its roots deeper than memory, and yet something in it felt familiar. I lowered my heavy body beside it, pressing my side against its rough skin. The moment I touched it, I felt pulled, not by force, but by resonance. The tree was not just alive, it was awake. I closed my eyes, and I was no longer me. Not the tiger, not the beast, but a breath among leaves, a flicker inside bark. I saw through its eyes 1,000 winters, 10,000 dawns. Countless lives passed before it, and within it, there were creatures before me, massive shapes with thunder in their steps, feathers, claws, stone tools in trembling hands, a child weeping beneath its shade, a fire built at its feet, a lullaby sung in a language forgotten, and then silence. Long stretches of silence. I felt its grief, not for death, but for forgetfulness. How many souls had whispered their stories to this tree, only to vanish like mist? I opened my eyes again, back in my striped form, but something had changed. The jungle didn't feel like a place anymore. It felt like a memory. I too was part of that memory. Not the hero, not the villain, just a note. In a song older than speech, I looked at the tree and whispered, "Did I dream you, or did you dream me?" It didn't answer, but the wind did. A soft sigh through leaves, a yes, a no, a maybe. My breathing slowed. My limbs became heavy. The earth was soft beneath me. The stars blinked above like ancient watchers. Breathe in, breathe out, rest, remember, forget, dream. The jungle was silent, not the kind of silence you hear, but the kind that wraps around your bones. It was deeper than sleep, older than language. Even the wind didn't dare to whisper tonight. I walked through the darkness, my paws sinking into the damp earth, each step echoing in a world that no longer responded. No insects, no rustling leaves, only the faint thump of my own heartbeat and the softest hum of the stars. I stopped beneath the old moon. Its light, silver and cold, fell across my fur like memories I never lived. Have I been here before, in another skin, in another breath? My eyes closed, not from fatigue, but from surrender. My body, powerful and striped, felt light to light, as if I was being unstitched from time itself. I lay down beneath the trees, not to rest, but to listen, to the silence that spoke louder than thunder. Breathe in, breathe out, slowly, gently, again, again. I remembered a stream, or maybe it was a dream of water. It flowed through a forest that didn't exist, carrying voices, laughter, tears, echoes of lives I never knew. Or maybe they were mine. Am I just a tiger, or a memory dreaming itself alive? The moon blinked once, or maybe it was just a cloud. Either way, I felt seen. Time dissolved. The seconds stretched like shadows before dawn, and I let go. I floated in a pool of breath, my ribs rising, falling, each exhale carrying away my name, my fears, my hunger. The jungle didn't care who I was. It only cared that I slept, so I gave it what it wanted. I closed my eyes and whispered to no one, "If I vanish, remember me as the silence that listened back," and then nothing. Only breath, only dreams. I was floating, but I wasn't me. I wasn't paws and stripes anymore. I was something vast, wide, ancient. The ocean wrapped itself around me. Its pulse matched mine, or maybe mine matched its. I drifted without effort through endless blue corridors of silence, each movement gentle, each thought slower, as if the world had turned to water, and memory had lost its grip. Was this death, or just another dream? My voice echoed inside me, but it no longer sounded like a growl. It was deeper, fuller, like a song sung by the sea itself. I saw flashes, a coral reef that shuddered like starlight, a shadow of a whale, or was it me? Breathe in, hold, let go. Again my thoughts came like bubbles, rising slow, soft, popping. Before I could grasp them, I remembered running through forests, but the trees were gone, now replaced with waves, currents. A different kind of gravity is identity, just a shape we wear, or something we carry across lifetimes. I tried to remember my name, but all that surfaced was a feeling of hunger, of kindness, of echo. The deeper I swam, the quieter the world became, until it was just me and my breath, in out. Sleep deeper, deeper. I felt myself shrinking from whale to dream, from dream to silence, and in that silence a whisper, you were never alone. The water faded, the dream unraveled. I exhaled once more and became still. The wind whispered across the barren plains, a song without melody, a voice without words. I walked slowly, my paws leaving faint impressions in the dry earth, dust rising around me like memory smoke. Each breath was cold, not from air but from within. There was no scent of prey, no movement of life, only echoes. I had been here before, in a life. I only felt in fragments, shards, of something older than the bones that carried me now. In dreams, or were they memories? I had once stood atop this hill, fur-bloodied heart, wild. Now I stood again, slower, wiser, alone. The sky was a dull grey, stretched like worn cloth across the horizon. Even the sun seemed hesitant, hiding behind a veil of time. I found a stone, not remarkable, not shaped by claws or fire, just old. I sat beside it, not because I was tired, but because I remembered sitting before, long ago. As something else, a flicker in the wind, made my ear twitch. But it was not danger, it was thought. Do beasts remember their past selves? Do we carry the weight of lives before? In our instincts, in our reflexes, in the way our eyes lock onto shadows. I dug a small hole, not deep, just enough to press my paw inside. The soil was cool, rich, waiting. I did not plant anything, I only touched it, hoping it might remember me. Breathe. In, let go, fall deeper. The wind shifted, a sound came with it. Not language, not song, just rhythm. My heartbeat answered, slow, steady, like the pace of the earth itself. A bird passed overhead, not one I recognized, but it looked down at me, and for a moment I imagined it had once been my brother, in another cycle, another shape. We watched each other until distance made. Remembering too hard, I closed my eyes. There were dreams behind them, not visions, but dreams. I was a cub again, warmth at my side, a mother's breath, steady, protective. I felt the pull of teeth at my scruff, the rush of milk, the soft growl of safety. Then, I was older, teeth bared, eyes wild, a rival before me. We clashed, claws sang, blood fell like leaves, and when it was over, I remembered his eyes and the sorrow in mine. These were not just dreams, they were echoes, soul memories. The night fell slowly, draping its silence across my thoughts. Sleep now. Let your past wrap around you like moss. Let your future dissolve into sky. Breathe slowly, deeper, slower. I did not move. I did not need to. Everything that needed to move was inside me. A memory stirred, not from this body, not even from this world. A jungle, perhaps thick and humid. A snake curled around my thoughts, whispering secrets older than stars. I felt my body disappear, not in fear, but in knowing. Maybe I was not just a tiger. Maybe I was a library of lives, a constellation of creatures who had once fought, hunted, loved, and slept. Let go, sink deeper. You are safe here, you are whole. Tomorrow, perhaps, you will wake beneath a tree that remembers your name. The cold returns, a familiar silence blankets the forest. Not the silence of peace, but of memory, deep beneath the snow. Where light can't reach, the past begins to stir. I am the Saber-Toothed again, but not the hunter, not this time. Tonight, I remember. Tonight, I am something more. A dream maybe, or a memory passed down through flesh and fur. An ancient voice speaks within me. It doesn't sound like mine, but it knows me better than I do. It whispers, "You've walked this earth before, with feathers, with scales, with hands." The wind pushes snow across my path, hiding old tracks, just like the mind hides old thoughts. But steps leave weight, even when covered. The earth remembers, just like I do. I see a reflection in the frozen river. It blinks, not like a beast, but like something else, wiser, older, lonely. And it speaks not with words, but with knowing. You are not the beginning, nor the end. You are the middle echo of a scream that started before stars were born. I lower my heavy head, not from fear, but from understanding. Around me, nothing moves. Even the trees seem to hold their breath. My muscles, once coiled to leap, now loosen. The frost no longer bites, it hugs. And in that stillness, I remember the warmth of the fire I never saw, the voices I never heard, but still echo in my chest. Rest, the voice says, not to hide, but to listen. And I do. I let the earth cradle me. Let the stars blur above me. Let sleep arrive. Softly. Now, let go of the claws. Let go of the chase. There is nothing left to prove tonight. Only the silence matters now. And the breath, fading, fading, gone. Sleep well. The moon cast a pale shimmer over the frostbitten ground. You breathe deeply, slowly. Your body is no longer bound by muscle or bone. You are pure awareness, a saber-toothed tiger, yet more than a beast, a vessel of memory and meaning. You feel the icy breeze curl through your fur, your 25-centimeter fangs resting heavy on your jaw. But they're not for battle tonight. Tonight, they are silent sentinels of thought. You tread the ancient earth with cautious grace. Each pothole echoes the rhythm of forgotten epochs. You remember not just this life, but the whispers of lives before. A crocodile watching the Nile, a hawk circling Babylon, a bear breathing in the quiet snow of early China. Reincarnation is not a story. It's a weight you carry. Your mind floats backward into the mist. A child once stared into your eyes. Was he afraid, or did he see himself? In you, did he sense that his soul had once roared under starlit skies? Perhaps that's why he didn't run. Perhaps he too had once been a tiger. You blink slowly, the world blurs into thought. Sleep brushes against your instincts. But your mind stays awake, just enough to wonder. Why do we live to feed, if not to feel? You ask the stars, they do not reply, but they shimmer with a softness that feels like truth. Your breathing slows. Your heart follows. The ground beneath you seems to cradle you gently, and in that moment you realize even predators long for peace. There is no need to fight now, no need to defend territory or pride. Just inhale and exhale, inhale. Again, your pulse becomes the wind. Your thoughts become clouds. Your body is dissolving into stillness. Am I alone? The question echoes through your chest. but the forest answers. With a rustle, you are part of it all. The trees breathe with you. The soil remembers your path. You are not alone, you are eternal. Your eyelids grow heavy. Your muscles yield to gravity. The world continues. But you drift deeper and deeper and deeper still. Good night, Saber. The cave's breath was colder than the wind outside. Frost clung to the stone, like memory clinging to the mind. You stepped deeper. The shadows swallowed you. But they did not harm you. This was not an ordinary cave. This was the cavern of your thoughts. A place where echoes spoke with the voices of your past lives. A flicker of light danced along the walls, revealing shapes you almost recognized. A hawk, a serpent, a man, a mammoth, each one you, each one silent, each one waiting. Your paws touched the frozen ground. The sound was soft, yet it thundered inside your chest. Why do you wander? A voice asked. It did not come from the cave. It came from within. You inhaled slowly, filling your lungs with air that felt older than the stars. And you answered in a whisper to remember. The cave hummed. It understood. Deeper you went. The walls pulsed with ancient rhythm. Every step loosened the grip of your current life. You were no longer just a saber-toothed tiger. You were all your lives at once. The predator, the prey. The child, the wind, sleep tugged at your heavy body. But this was not the sleep of forgetting. This was the sleep of becoming. Breathe again and again. Your mind floats like a feather through time. You see a fire you once started. You see a cub you once protected. You see a face you once loved. Each image fades into the next, until only the breath remains. Lie down now. The stone is cold, but it will hold you. The earth remembers all who rest in it. Your heartbeat slows, your jaw softens, your eyes close. There is nothing to fear. This cave is your sanctuary. Your story is safe here. You are safe. You are still. You are home. Sleep deeper, deeper still. The cave gave way to light. Not the harsh light of day, but a glow, softer, older, as if the world itself was exhaling. The saber-toothed tiger stepped into the valley slowly, its paws pressing into moss, older than the stars. The air here felt heavier, but not unkind. It carried scents from lives long past, wet earth, distant fire, sweet fruit ripening on branches that no longer existed. He paused at the edge of a stream, so still it mirrored. Not his reflection, but memories. A cub staring up with wide eyes. A rival with claws bared. A soft breath shared with another, beneath sheltering trees. He blinked, and the images dissolved. This valley was unlike anywhere he had walked. There was no sense of time, no scent of prey, no pull of hunger, only the steady pulse of life, ancient, unbroken. He climbed a low rise and looked back. The cave entrance had vanished ahead. The valley opened wide, endless, and quiet. Why am I here? He asked aloud, though his voice was more thought than sound. The wind moved through the tall grass, whispering in a language without words. He felt it in his chest. Because you are ready. He remembered the fire of youth when each day was a test of strength. He remembered the bitterness of losing, the pride of surviving. He remembered the nights curled in solitude, the ache of not understanding why the world was so fleeting. The valley offered no answers, but it did not need to. He waded through the stream, its water cool against his legs. On the other side, a grove of trees rose like guardians. At their center lay a stone worn smooth by uncounted seasons. He approached it cautiously, as if it might vanish if he moved too quickly. His claws touched the stone, and warmth spread through his body. It was then he understood. This was no ordinary valley. This was a place between worlds, a place where the soul prepared to rest. But he was not ready for that final rest. Not yet. He lay beside the stone, muscles loosening. He could hear the heartbeat of the earth beneath him, slow, steady. It reminded him of his own heartbeat as a cub, pressed close to his mother's side. Not yet, he whispered, but soon. The valley did not argue, it simply held him. Night fell slowly, painting the sky in colors no eye could name. He watched until his vision blurred. The grass swayed gently, lulling him toward sleep, but he stayed, awake just a little longer. He wanted to feel it all, the wind, the earth, the stars, before moving forward. And when the time came, he would know. The valley had changed, or perhaps it was him. The air felt heavier now, laced with a stillness he could not ignore. The saber-toothed tiger stepped carefully across the moss-covered ground, his massive frame moving slower than before time had etched its presence into his muscles. Each stride carried the weight of countless journeys, but there was no fear, only awareness, only acceptance. He paused at a crystal-clear stream, the water reflected, not his strength as it once did, but the silver streaks in his fur, the gentle tremble in his shoulders. He was older now, and the forest seemed to know it. Birds perched nearby sang softer melodies, the trees swayed, as if bowing to him, honoring the warrior who had roamed these lands for so long. He lowered his head and drank slowly, savoring each drop as though it was his first and his last. In the distance a storm gathered, but it no longer felt like something to fight. The storm was part of the earth, just as he was. He thought of battles once fought, rivals once defeated, hunts that had sharpened his claws and heart. None of it felt like victory. Anymore, it all felt like lessons. He climbed a small hill, his breath heavy but steady. The wind brushed his whiskers and carried whispers from the past. Cubs he had once protected, companions he had lost, rivers crossed. In seasons that felt eternal, have I done enough? He asked the wind. It didn't answer, but a soft warmth filled his chest, as though the valley itself whispered, "Yes, you have always been enough." The tiger lay beneath a towering tree, its roots curling into the ground, like the embrace of an old friend. He closed his eyes briefly, not in sleep, but to feel the pulse of the earth beneath him. It was strong, unbroken, eternal. This was not an end. This was a transition, a return. He lifted his head and gazed at the infinite horizon. The sun touched the edges of the mountains, casting golden light that felt almost sacred. He thought of what lay ahead, beyond the horizon. Not fear, not darkness, but a homecoming. A place where every breath, every heartbeat, every roar he had ever given would merge into something vast and timeless. He exhaled slowly. The wind carried his breath away, as though it belonged to the world now, and for the first time in seasons, his shoulders relaxed completely. The warrior was ready, not to vanish, but to close his eyes to infinity, and become part of the earth that had shaped him. Night crept in softly. The stars appeared, one by one, like watchful guardians. He felt their quiet presence, and knew he was not alone. He never had been. The valley, the trees, the sky, they all held him in a silent promise. When the time comes, you will rest peacefully. You will become one with us. And the saber-toothed tiger heart, steady in gaze, calm, simply whispered to himself, "I will be ready." The sun was low when the tiger woke, not from fear, not from hunger, but from the pull of the earth. The quiet rhythm of life that had always guided him. He stretched slowly, his joints stiff but not painful there. was dignity in the heaviness of age, a life measured not by how many battles won, but by how many seasons embraced. The forest moved softly around him. He could sense every creature, every root beneath his paws, every leaf trembling in the breeze. He had once walked these paths like a storm, a shadow feared by all. But now he walked like a part of the forest itself. The air carried scents of familiar trails, old hunts he remembered chasing, deer through the undergrowth, his strength, a force of nature. He remembered victories, but also the ones that escaped. The lessons learned in the silence of failure. Those memories did not hurt anymore. They warmed him. The tiger came upon an open meadow, the grass waving like an ocean of green. He paused at its edge, feeling the gentle wind against his whiskers. He did not need to cross it quickly. He was no longer bound by urgency. In the distance, a herd grazed peacefully. The old instinct stirred, faint but present. The warrior in him remembered what it was to hunt. But the heart in him knew he no longer needed to. He lowered himself into the grass, simply watching the herd, his breath sinking with theirs. There was peace in this connection. No chase, no hunger, only life-sharing, space with life. The horizon glowed with the last light of day, the tiger's golden eyes reflected the sky, the same sky that had watched him grow from cub to warrior to elder. He thought of the battles that had shaped him, the lands he had crossed, the lives he had touched. He whispered to the wind, "I am ready for what comes." The wind did not answer, but it wrapped around him like a soft cloak. He walked back into the forest. Every step slow but certain. He was not searching for prey. He was searching for a place where the earth would remember him by a great tree with roots like rivers. He stopped. This was where he would rest when the time came, but not yet. Not tonight. He lay beneath the tree, feeling the pulse of the ground through his chest. It was steady, eternal. He matched his breathing to it. In, out, the stars began to appear. One by one, across the infinite horizon, he gazed up at them, their light, calm and unchanging. This, he thought, is what eternity feels like. The night deepened. The forest whispered around him, welcoming him home. The tiger closed his eyes. Not forever, not yet, but long enough to dream. The night was quiet, yet alive with whispers. The saber-toothed tiger walked slowly beneath the canopy of ancient trees, every step deliberate. The forest had become softer with age, or perhaps it was him who had changed. The weight of seasons was in his stride. Muscles that had once carried him like lightning now carried him like a slow river, steady and certain. He could feel the pull of the earth, the soft hum of life beneath the soil, and he understood what it meant. He reached a ridge where the trees opened, revealing an endless horizon painted in moonlight. He stood there for a long time, his breath deep, and even the wind touched his whiskers gently, as if recognizing the warrior he had been, the guardian he had become. This was no longer the tiger of hunts and battles. This was a creature who had seen the rise and fall of countless days, and learned that victory was not in the chase, but in the stillness after he lowered himself to the earth, the cool grass embracing his tired body. The stars stretched across the sky like silent witnesses, unchanging and eternal, and for the first time he felt no need to move. He closed his eyes, not in sleep, but in memory. Flashes came, the warmth of his mother's side. As a cub, the thrill of the first hunt, the pride of survival, the quiet ache of loss. He saw it all, and none of it hurt anymore. It was all part of the same story, a story written not in words, but in paw prints across the earth. The wind carried the scent of blooming flowers from the valley below. It reminded him of spring, of beginnings. He smiled softly, a soundless rumble deep in his chest. He understood now, every ending was a beginning. Every breath returned to the earth. To give life again, he whispered into the wind, "When the time comes, I will close my eyes to infinity." And the wind, warm and tender, seemed to answer, "You already have the tiger," rose once more. He was tired but not weak. He would walk a little further, find the place where the earth would cradle him when the time came. He looked to the horizon, glowing softly in the night sky. It felt like a promise, a place where the river of life flowed into the ocean of forever. He stepped forward, slowly, peacefully. The forest around him seemed to open, guiding him. There was no fear, only the gentle rhythm of the earth calling him home. The saber-toothed tiger walked until the trees parted, revealing a meadow bathed in starlight. He lay down in the tall grass, feeling the heartbeat of the world beneath him. He did not close his eyes just yet. He wanted to see the stars one more time, and as he gazed at the infinite horizon, he felt lighter than he ever had. There was no burden left to carry, only peace. The night air was crisp, the kind of air that made every breath feel alive. The saber-toothed tiger walked slowly through the meadow, his massive frame heavy with the weight of years, yet steady with purpose. There was no rush. Every step was a conversation. With the earth beneath him, he had roamed this land as a fierce hunter, a guardian, a wanderer. Now he walked as something more, a soul. Returning home, the forest opened before him, revealing a glade bathed in starlight. The air was still, except for the whispering grass, as though the valley itself was waiting for him. He stepped into the center, his paws pressing softly into the earth. There was no fear, only peace. He lowered his head and closed his eyes briefly, feeling the warmth of the soil beneath him. He could sense the roots of ancient trees wrapping deep into the ground, the heartbeat of the earth, steady and eternal. It reminded him of the rhythm of his mother's heartbeat. When he was a cub, he opened his eyes and gazed. At the infinite horizon, the stars shone brighter than he had ever seen them, their light shimmering. Like a promise, he understood what it meant. This place was chosen. This would be the place where he would one day close his eyes to infinity and become one with the earth. But not yet, not tonight. The tiger lay down slowly, his breath steady but soft. He thought of the lives he had touched, the forest he had protected, the battles he had fought. There was no pride left in those memories, only gratitude. Everything he had experienced, every roar, every hunt, every loss had brought him here. He whispered into the night, "I am ready. When the earth calls me home." The wind moved through the trees, wrapping around him. Like a warm embrace, it felt like the earth itself was answering. When the time comes, you will rest peacefully. You will return to us. The saber-tooth closed his eyes for a moment, not in final rest, but in deep reflection. The ground beneath him was warm, cradling his body, as though it had been waiting for him. He breathed deeply, the scent of wildflowers filling his lungs. There was serenity here. There was acceptance. The stars watched silently as he drifted into a light sleep. The forest whispered lullabies. The river hummed softly, and the earth held him. In a timeless embrace, tomorrow, he would wake and walk these lands again. But one day, when the time was right, he would lie beneath these stars and close his eyes forever. And when that moment came, he would not vanish. He would return home. The meadow was silent, bathed in silver light. The saber-toothed tiger stood at its edge, his golden eyes reflecting the stars above. There was no rush. Every breath was a gift, every heartbeat a reminder of the life he had lived. He walked slowly to the center of the field, his powerful frame softened by age. The grass parted gently beneath his paws, as though guiding him forward. He had hunted here as a cub, roamed here as a warrior, and now returned as something more, a soul, ready to join the eternal rhythm of the earth. He lowered himself into the tall grass and gazed at the infinite horizon. The stars shimmered like a million watchful eyes, welcoming him home. He remembered every season, every challenge, every moment of wonder, the fire of youth, the thrill of survival, the ache of loss, the joy of connection. All of it had shaped him, prepared him. For this final journey, there was no fear, only peace. The earth felt warm beneath him, cradling him. Like the embrace of an old friend, he closed his eyes briefly and whispered, "I am ready to return." The wind brushed his whiskers softly, carrying the scent of wildflowers. It felt like a promise, a gentle assurance. You will never be alone. You will be part of everything. His breath slowed. Inhale, exhale. The rhythm matched the heartbeat of the world around him. The forest, the rivers, the stars, all of nature's voices became one, singing a lullaby only he could hear. He opened his eyes one last time and looked at the horizon glowing softly in the distance. It no longer felt far away. It felt like home. He lay his head down upon the earth and felt its strength one final time. And as the first light of dawn touched the meadow, the tiger closed his eyes. To infinity he did not vanish. He became the wind. Through the trees, the warmth of the sun, the quiet strength of the earth, and in that eternal embrace, he was finally home. The valley, the forest, the stars, they would always remember him. And if you stood in the meadow on a quiet night, you might feel him too. A soft presence in the air, a whisper carried on the wind, a reminder that life never truly ends. It simply becomes part of something greater.